Hello, everyone. I want to look into the mindset behind why Brian Koberger decided to take the deal. But I want to try and do it from a mediumship perspective, like a bird's eye view, if you will. As always, this is an energy reading. It's all alleged, my opinion, not fact. Xana? Walking away unfulfilled from what just happened in trial? Yes. Okay. So Xana. Oh, because we're talking about that. Let me make sure my mic is working. Really good time to do that now. It is okay. So, Xana, would it be fair to say that you are able to give me a bird's eye view into what went into Brian Koberger accepting the deal today? A solution, a respite, answers. Correct? Yes. Sorry. Going on an adventure. Yes, let's go. Where do you think it's most appropriate to start? Starting at the beginning of what was offered. Okay, what was the beginning of what was offered? Giving up control to have the situation mature. What was the beginning of the offer? The beginning of the offer was, we'll take the death penalty off the table if you give us the weapon. Two things. If you what and what, blank and what, blank and what, and one of them needs to be the weapon if I was right. Communication, hidden communication, when if you tell about what happened and give the weapon. Okay. So initially, what was offered was, we'll take the death penalty off the table, but you need to publicly say what happened and you need to provide the weapon. But that fell apart, fair to say? Yeah. Wish fulfillment in reverse, that fell apart. What caused that to fall apart? Because unless I'm misunderstanding, I didn't realize, I don't know. Does he have the opportunity to still do that, or is it just accepted as it is and he doesn't have to say more? Like I thought he didn't have to say more. So if that is the case and he doesn't have to say more, that means that initial plan fell apart. So what, if that's the case, caused that plan to fall apart? Yes, it fell apart. What and what? Shining light on an offer. Yes, it fell apart. It fell apart because Brian was adamant to just admit guilt and let that be it. Because he says the weapon is unrecoverable. Yeah. Leaving a cloud of smoke in the air. At what point? Okay, two questions. First one that's coming through strongest is, at what point did they stop trying to get him to admit it and give the weapon and just accept it for what it was today? What caused that switch? Tower, end of a cycle. Yes, that switch closed because he just wouldn't do it. He just wouldn't do it. Yeah, he just wouldn't do it. He wouldn't give it. He wouldn't do it. Um, um, hold on. Trying to remember my other question. At what point was the switch? Oh, and at what point did Brian decide to take the deal? No, before I ask that, he just wouldn't give it. That is the answer. He just wouldn't give it. So then at what point did Brian decide to take the deal under his terms? I'm not gonna give you everything you want, but I'll take your deal to take death penalty off the table. Is one of his parents not doing well? One of his sisters not doing well? Is there some bit here to spare his family, his own family, from trial? That was why he decided to rip out the roots here and just do the deal. Fair to say? Yeah. Not public, opposite of public humiliation. Um, but what happened that made it go from "I'm fighting this" to "I'm not going to fight this"? Like, even if it was for his family and to spare them the publicity of the trial, what 4 cards before, after. Darkness, family in reverse. I'm not remembering. Justice in reverse for after. 4 pentacles in reverse. A release of injustice. A release of injustice for after. So I'm not gonna put my family through this. It is part of it. It's not all of it, but it's part of it. And before, Temperance, 10 of Pentacles in reverse, before I didn't really care. So before I didn't really care, and then something happens and I'm like, I'm not gonna do this. Is it is it better to word that as he's sparing his family the publicity negatively from trial? Or is it that his family is the last ones who believe him to be who he pretended to be for some time, and if he goes to trial, that can't be the case anymore, they're gonna see the true him, and then he literally has no one. The moon. And then it's just him in his mind. It's just him in his mind because he has fans or whatever, but they'll come and go, and he'll never really trust them like he, to some degree, trusts his family because of the 10 of Pentacles, long time in each other's lives. Public trial means he could potentially have no one. It's not about sparing his family the plebis can't say that word right now. It's not about sparing his family that right now. It's about my family's the last one to see my absolute true colors, and in trial they're going to. Judgment in reverse. I don't want to be judged in that way. Um, 4 of Wands, 8 of Cups. Is it Ethan or still Xana? Ethan. Okay, I thought that's what that meant. Um, mm, inside Brian's mind as he was sitting in the chair in the courtroom. Judgment in reverse. That people will someday see how he's being misjudged. Yeah. Like the people who believe he's innocent will see they were wrong, or the people who believe he's guilty will see they're wrong. Putting down the burden. The burden of guilt. The burden of guilt was never there. So in Brian's mind, he thinks that people are gonna almost try and prove his innocence for him now because of them viewing this as him taking a deal unethically or something like that. Page of Wands is going on an adventure. What kind of adventure would that be, to confirm? Taking the swords out of his back. So Brian thinks that someone's going to come along and take swords out of his back for him. Give and take. Not to free him, but to get people to view him differently. The Queen of Pentacles is like your worth, your value. So what does he want to be seen as? Unjustly forced into a plea deal, or someone who almost committed the perfect crime but then took his power back? Queen of Cups in reverse. Queen of Cups in reverse. No, people to forever question whether or not he did it because it looks like he was forced into a plea deal. Yeah, the Emperor in reverse, his power taken away. So instead of getting it all buttoned up in court where he would have to say this and that, he took this so that people would forever question, is he a mastermind or was he framed? Page of Cups in reverse, immaturity, lack of emotions. Page of Cups and Queen of Cups, both reversed. If this is associated with a lack of nurture wound, I'm not going on to blame anyone. I'm not blaming his mom. I'm just unpacking what I'm getting in my head. And I've said this in previous readings. If there is this lack of nurture wound from his mom, and I don't, again, I didn't never said neglect. I just felt like there was a better connection with the sisters, which caused an internal struggle. Now, if that is present, how would that be showing up here? Court airs out all of my bad deeds. Court is me just being singled out. I think he didn't go to court because the only woman he doesn't hate is the one that he always really wanted to love him the way he wanted her to, his mom. What and what? Social queen in reverse manipulation. He didn't want her to see. Truth. Yeah, I don't. Mm, but it's hard for me to understand, and I know people are gonna rip me apart for this reading. I'm just telling you what I'm getting. Um, it doesn't feel like empathy though. It's not like I feel so bad. It's more just like if this one person goes against me, if this one person sees me for who I am, the one person that is like genetically programmed to love me, if this person can't anymore because of what happened in the court, I am utterly alone. And it almost like validates this war that he's had with his mind. I don't. Yeah, 3 of Cups in reverse. I'm all alone. Ethan, could you answer questions about whether or not the plea deal was ethical or not? Hanged man. Second time today that was used for Ethan. um, I think the best way to ask is just simply if people knew the absolute truth about how the plea deal came into being, would the majority of people with sound and logical mind say this is ethical or this is unethical? Like toward Brian. And I think more than ethical, legal. Is it legal and ethical the way that the plea deal was came to and structured and coerced or not, whatever, like yes or no, good or bad? I mean, 9 of Pentacles is the card that's like, are you giving this person a fair shot or not? And it's upright. 9 of Pentacles is like, you got legs to stand. Are you going to stand in place or are you going to walk towards your 10 of Pentacles? In reverse, you're not. Upright, you are. I feel like this is saying, you know, were there certain things done here that weren't necessarily all the way like up to standard? Yeah, obviously we can see it with our eyes. But this to me is the plea deal in and of itself being ethical. Like if I could pick one card besides Ace of Swords, which is already under here, like 9 of Pentacles is like, are that person's being independent. They're about to go into fulfillment. Like that person has the tools. Are they going to make something out of it? So like he had the chance to prove his innocence. He wasn't able to, you know, could he have rolled the dice at them proving his guilt? Yes, but in this case, it was hard to prove the innocence because there was stuff to the contrary that couldn't be explained away. So this to me is yes. I mean, I know why it might not look that way. And I'm not saying it's the right decision because I know the families are not in agreement with it. I'm just saying that ethically the question was of ethics and legality and this to me would be a yes. The Fool, yeah. Um Now, the Fool is going towards the Magician in reverse. So, are certain things that are conveniently not there, how do I word that? Are certain things that are not there, like the lacking of them, is that ethical? No, but 9 of Pentacles and the Fool would tell me that there's nothing in there that's going to, um, contradict guilt. Like there's nothing that shows innocence. And that is why the plea deal would be ethical. Would that be fair to say? Death in reverse, lack of change. It was never gonna the stuff that was missing, it was not gonna come out in trial either. There's certain things that is just hidden, but it's not things that point to his innocence. Yeah, the chariot. Chariot, 2 forces working together. Don't go in that direction. What direction should I go in? Oh, not there. Then where? Go go back. Go back. Go back. When did I just was drawn to look up at my in-between tarot deck. Um, so when did Brian decide for sure on taking the plea deal? In between what and what? 7 of Pentacles in reverse, some kinda seed being ripped out, and some kinda seed being ripped out. So in between the last 2 denials, whatever the last 2 things were denied, I think it was extension of trial, the other culprits, potential culprits, and shoot, I think there was a third one. Whatever the last 2 were, it was, like, final like, the second to last denial, he was like, "Alright, I might have to take this deal," and then the last denial, which I think was delay of trial, it was like, "Nope, taking it. I have to." Yeah, 8 of Cups. Well, I don't want to, but I have to. Walking away, I can't do this anymore. Um, okay, go back. Was there another question back there? No. Oh, lack of fulfillment, yes. About what? What was the final nail in the coffin outside of court decision? So not something that happened in the court, but something out of the court that helped to solidify the decision to do this, especially once the court made those last 2 denials. 2 cards. His mother, I'm telling you. I don't wanna lose my last connection, the son that I've had, the only one that I've had since a child. Everybody else can turn on me. They're fans now, they can turn on me at any minute. Whatever he feels about the people who are contacting him or going to. It's like hers is the only approval that he's ever sought. Yeah, communication. Hers is the only approval that he ever sought. Um, trying to think of what else I could ask that's back in that direction. So what happened outside of court was it a conversation with his mother? Was it a realization that he had about his mother? Was it something someone else said to him about his mother? Or was it something is he allowed to watch the news about himself? Was it either or for 4, was it news or something he heard about news or something? I don't know what he's allowed to know, but anyway, was it a conversation with his mother? Not directly, not like, "Oh, you're hurting me," if anything, no. I mean, there may have been conversations with his mother, but it wasn't like, "You need to do this," or it wasn't, "I'm doing this for you." If it was that, it was more of like an unspoken thing. 5 of Cups in reverse, High Priestess. Is his mother the only one who allows him to feel access to his emotions? King of Wands, action towards what? When action meets thought. When action meets thought. She's the only one who's ever seen his emotions, like, almost like he's practiced feeling emotions, but only with her. Not like in a weird or romantic way, just like a this is like a I don't know how to explain. Ethan, what card would you give me for, it's like he practiced allowing himself to feel, but only ever with her. That's what this connection is. Yeah, the Empress. Okay. 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 So, and I'm not saying romantic or weird at all. I'm literally saying the opposite of that. Mother-son feelings. That's it. Um, but for everyone else, he didn't feel, so it almost that show me confirmation of Brian's feelings in regard to having his mother sit through or have to watch or hear about the trial and the amount that that impacted him. I think that that's a lot less than the other two, like denial in court. I think those were the big ones. But I think when he's sitting there like, oh, should I still roll the dice? He's like, well, it's pretty stacked against me, plus the mom stuff that I'm referencing. Um, what was my question? Brian's feelings or thoughts about his mom being put through the trial. Hermit's turning his back on the King of Cups. Hermit, the one person turning their back on emotional intelligence. I think he thought that she wouldn't be able to handle trial. Yeah. Indecision, don't know what to do, don't want to see it, don't want to hear it. Now I'm stuck in this state of constant defense. And I eventually turn my back on my emotions. And if he is only allowing himself to ever feel emotions with or in regard to her, and she no longer can, he never can again. Yeah, lack of teamwork. That seems more of like a subconscious thing, but I'm sure that like maybe that trickled through consciously in terms of decisions. I think I'm going more to like the root of it, but I'm just telling you what I'm being shown. So, yeah, strength. She was his strength, but like not in an understandable, easily way. What was Brian's feelings when he was sitting at the bench saying yes, 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 over and over to the charges, to the details, to the judge's statements? What was in his mind or thoughts or psyche or subconscious? It's over. It's a painful ending, a painful completion of a cycle. But same thing, 2 cards, but. A painful ending to a cycle, but at least I don't have to put my mom through trial. I don't. 4 of Wands is literally the environment of the home. Ace of Cups in reverse, fear, the emotional shut off. From 1 to 10, and I don't know how you're gonna show me this. Oh, I guess there's 1 through 10 in the deck, but how big of a factor was his mom when it came to this decision in comparison to the that's denied, that's denied, that's denied in court towards the end? 1 to 10, his mom's factor ability. 9. Huh. Did I word that question wrong? Is it he was already at a 9 and then the mom pushed him from a 9 to a 10? She pushed him right over the edge because, these things are already getting me at 90%. Now I gotta roll the dice. If I roll the dice and fail, then I lose the last thing, the last my mom, the last connection. No, his mom was 90% of his decision? Can I have, like, a super direct confirmation if that's the case? I know you kinda gave me one because this is jail, but I'm confused. Okay. This is how I'm seeing it. His mom held 90% of it, up until now, up until the last couple denials in court, his mom was 90% of the reason that he was considering ever at any point taking the deal because this didn't happen overnight for him. He's been playing a back and forth cat and mouse game with it. Up until the last couple denials, his mom was 90% of the reason that he was considered like, I think I get where this is going. His mom was 90% up until the last couple denials, right? Because he thought that he was going to be able to sow so much doubt that he wasn't as worried about the court part of it. Those last couple denial, he was like, "Okay, I'm already having these feelings about what I already talked about with the mom. Now, denial. Now I feel like it's rolling the dice for me to lose the last thing that I could potentially have, but she's gonna have to see all of this aired out in trial." So I don't think that what's being conveyed is she was 90% of his decision, but, like, she was 90% of the decision up until the last couple denials because he wasn't as worried about the court part. He thought he could sow the doubt, even though it didn't look like that. And then the last couple denials were the overflow. It's like, "Nope, no more, can't do it." Offer of love. This is my okay. Queen of Cups, Knight of Cups, mother, son. I'm gonna throw up. Um, oh, I think I'm gonna throw up. I was just in the energy of him making the decision. Is that how he felt like he was gonna throw up? Privately, held it in. The darkness. I used to see a light at the end of the tunnel, and now I'm agreeing to snuff it out. Um, oh, I have a question. I'm gonna ask my question first and then see what cards are under there. Um, oh, where'd my question go? Oh. Um, oh, world, because it was in front of the world. How is Brian feeling now at this moment after in front of the world making this plea and declaration? Oh, okay. Uh, People were in the comments of the videos that I was watching saying that he was very emotionless during the court proceeding, and I think you have to be. I don't know. Anyway, not defending him, but to my understanding, I thought that the judge kind of asked for that in the beginning. But anyway, people were a lot of the time pointing out the emotionlessness. Um, is that not so much the case now that he's alone? Like, is he feeling the emotions to some degree now? Darkness. So not emotions, mental, um, mental what? Mental what? 2 cards. Confusion and imprisonment. I'm trapped and confused. I'm trapped and confused. Okay. Confused about what? How to feel. Oh, I'm trapped and confused. Now I have to either deal with the mental prison or I need to start to feel the feelings. Yeah. Oh. Uh, that's the same card that came out. Why? An offer of love to some degree. Like, this is how I can set my mom free from it. And again, I don't know if I'm explaining that to I don't think that his mom was the main factor in his decision. I think she was what pushed his decision over the edge because he wasn't worried about certain things until he kept getting denied. Just wanna explain that one more time. But anyway, um, okay, so he's feeling no, he's intellectualizing, "How would I even go about feeling this? Because I'm trapped in my mind with all of this darkness now because I had to admit out loud that it exists for the first time in this way, and it's everywhere. The world, 4 of cups. Oh, I just knocked a card on the floor. Let me see what it is. Just oh, it's government. I'm not gonna use it because it fell on the floor, but I just want to make sure the rest doesn't fall on the floor. Um, an offering for the world to see. A state of processing acceptance of darkness that is now confirmed. Yeah, that's the battle. That's the mental battle. That's the 8 of swords, 5 of swords. Um, one second. Let me say bless you to Gavin. Okay. Let me make sure my mic is working. Mic is working. Okay. Can I ask about the question that I'm thinking that's inspired by the 5 of swords? Yes. A lot of people are concerned about him being Epsteined or similar in lockup. Is that a founded or an unfounded thing to be worried about or whatever? I don't know what word to use besides worried. The powers that be oh, not right now, but does he need to be careful? Him needing to be careful is founded. Careful in private. Him needing to be careful in private is founded because that's where they could make it look like a self yeah, temperance in reverse. Um, is him needing to be careful the same thing as saying there's something already in play? Or is him needing to be careful saying he needs to watch what he says and to whom because obvious reasons, I guess. I don't know what else to say. Drama. No, there's nothing. That doesn't really answer my question. Drama what? Drama if seeds are planted. Okay. Um, so no, nothing's in motion, but he needs to be careful about what he says to who and how much drama he tries to stir up, because if he stirs up too much, he may just decide to himself even. But I'm not saying that's in play. I don't think that that's in play right now. I think that that's just something that down the line he would need to be careful of. Is that fair to say? Yes. Sweating. Okay. Mm, is there anything else I should be asking? Something else that we need to know is no one else is going to be tried for this. But what action will be taken? No one else is going to be tried, but we will find out something we feared to be true. What? Four of Wands. Um, um, we will fear out. We will find out. Sorry, we will find out something we fear to be true about the roommates. Can we go here in a different reading? No. Okay. What are we going to find out? Dylan waiting to call. Dylan's story about why she waited to call and what unfolded is not true, and we're going to find out something about it. Yeah. Okay. What about Bethany compared to that? There's been a miscommunication about a lie. Miscommunication about a lie. Miscommunication about lack of clarity. So if you're miscommunicating and you're not communicating right about lack of clarity, something unclear, not communicating right about something unclear, not communicating right. What should I be asking about Bethany? What was her involvement? Only through Dylan. So we'll find out something about Dylan, but not necessarily Bethany. Yeah. Um, one more final card and then one from each of the 4 of them to close out for now. Is that Chariot in reverse? Yeah, okay, and, like, that's it, that's the end of the road. Uh, Xana was the first one to go here, the first message. Um, I heard "Don't you dare." Uh, Maddie? Maddie, okay, so the message being passed to Kaylee. Message being passed in a way we didn't see coming. Ethan. Delay of message. Message passed in a way we didn't see coming. Message passed in a way we didn't see coming. Oh, the 4 cards that I'm supposed to pull from the 4 of you is from the Whispers deck. A break from the past. So do it differently than I just did it. Down on the other side of the wall. Okay. 1 second. Oh, maybe that's why I knocked this deck over earlier. Give me 1 second because I knocked it all over my desk. Okay. One second, I have to say bless you. Okay, sorry, 1 second. Okay, Xana. Don't say anything, just paint the picture. Private property, political, and oh, don't say anything, just paint the picture. Maddie? Kaylee? Oh, burial in reverse, party in reverse. Secret New World Order in reverse. Now put it together and then pull Ethan's. Private property, political. An unknown political element about this plea deal. Burial, party celebration in reverse. Secret New World Order in reverse. Okay. Private property, political, an unknown political part of this plea deal, like a governmental aspect of the plea deal, allegedly, um, would resurrect I don't even know how to word this. Hold on one second. The true politics behind the nature of why the defense had to take the plea deal is blank, Ethan. Corrupted media source friend in reverse. Why the defense had to take a plea deal. I mean, it's a lying foe. Why the defense had to take a plea deal, a lying foe. Say what I'm getting? Do I just say what I'm getting? Yes. No in reverse. Um, it's not that this points to Brian's innocence, because that's not the case, but there would have been a way that Brian could have baited Dylan on the stand to having to change her testimony because of getting caught in something that's a known lie or a provable lie. But because of the other things already being denied, it no longer really mattered if they got her caught into that lie or not, because the denials made it so that door of what Brian wanted to bring in would have already been closed. It wasn't to prove his innocence, it was to get off on a technicality, because he knew that someone made a deal under the pretense of something that was not true. But he only knew that because of guilty knowledge. But once they wouldn't take the death penalty off the table, and once they got that approved, it's like he was working against the clock to try and see if they had enough to where if they got that testimony to be looked at as untrue, if everything would really be shaken off the fruit of the poisonous tree or not. And after those denials, he was feeling like it's not going to matter either way. Would that be fair to say? Science experiment in reverse. Testing of a hypothesis that failed. What was the hypothesis? Debt. You owe me. You owe me. Testing of a hypothesis. Debt. The reason I'm would it be fair to say that the reasonable doubt that Brian could have potentially used was, again, not his innocence, but simply a discarding of something that was used so that fruit of the poisonous tree would be in play. And that fruit of the poisonous tree was going to be Dylan's boyfriend was not where he claimed to be. And if she's lying about that, what else is she lying about? But when they wouldn't take the death penalty off the table and they gave denials to all these other things, it's like, what else? I can't roll the dice. Love evidence in reverse. That's the one piece of evidence that if he could have turned that upside down, love is like Garden of Eden. Evidence in reverse. If I get this thrown out, fruit of the poisonous tree, shake, 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 buy everything else. But it became too risky. Is that fair to say? Pattern repetition, affair cheating, because he realized that the other side was just going to close every avenue to that. It's almost like from Brian's perspective, he knew that they knew that he was going to try that. And that's why they waited till all of these denials, boom, 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 because it was either going to throw it all at the wall and hope that one of these doors stays open. So if that we catch her backing up from original statement, we can open one of these doors. But denial after denial, every door just got shut. Is that fair to say? Plot twist. What's the plot twist? Plot twist. That took his one move away. It took his one he was no longer able to try and outsmart them because although he could roll the dice on it, most of, if not all of the doors he was going to use were knowingly closed in his face already. And he didn't want his mom to go through trial. I'm telling you, that's how it was. It was like door, 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 door. All right, well, I don't want to risk it because of her. But like it really, the doors are what it was, but that was like the locking of the door. Like I'm in here now. Yeah, sad emotional. I'm in here now, and now I have to start to realize, am I going to be trapped in my mind that is an absolute prison while also in prison, or am I going to allow myself to feel my emotions so I at least can get out of my mind? Because the only way I can get out of my mind now is to be in my emotions or be around everybody else, and I don't really want to do that. Accomplice partner below ground level. I feel like he's going to find someone to study above ground because it's below ground in reverse and above ground partner. I wouldn't be surprised if he finds either someone he ends up studying like books about them or someone that he ends up emulating himself after in jail, something like that. Or maybe he's on a mission to compare himself to what others did already. I don't know. I think that's all for now though. Please remember that this is an energy reading. It's all alleged, my opinion, not fact. I keep looking at that one card. I really want to flip it. Witness. Thank you for watching today. I will talk to you soon.